a sweater jail. I wanna get you high on the rejects and Underhaven. They'll bring you shows to blow your mind.
Except we're not on the fucking rejects because this is an episode of Underhaven, and you know,
it's fake news because it's not a pre-show either.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Well, there's one true thing about the intro. There's one thing: we are under the influence, or at least I am.
Yeah,
I sure fucking.
I'm
am.
not, so it's still lying. You've been lied to three fucking times.
I said Underhaven. I said Underhaven in that intro, so I cut.
Yeah, rejects and Underhaven. Yeah, dude.
It covers literally everything. I made it to cover literally everything. That being said, that was my fuck up.
It's a very versatile intro. I'll give you that.
It is, yeah.
But no, I for whatever reason I didn't have the actual intro up, and for whatever reason I don't even know what the fuck it is right now on my computer. So, yeah, this is good enough.
It's probably up your ass, Jay.
Animants edited.
Good enough for KG. Anyway. Good enough for me.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Hell yeah. So we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. This is gonna be a bit different of a fucking episode because instead of covering a bunch of fucking videos that we get through for like 10 seconds and then talk about for 20 minutes, you know, we're gonna. I decided that I was gonna research a few topics. Like we're gonna be talking about the Green Party, Howie Hawkins, and the Green New Deal today, which. You know, I don't know. I could have easily probably done an entire episode on each of these things, but I feel like they're all connected enough that I feel like it would string together in a pretty cohesive episode, because there's a lot of people who don't give a shit about the Green Party who might care about the Green New Deal, which is really related to, I mean, that's not just something that, you know, Green Party people are advocating for now. Like now that's something that have reached like a lot of people who are progressive in the Democratic Party, like AOC and shit like that. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot to look into here. I really think
so. So it took Joe Biden being the front runner for people to entertain the prospect of voting for a fucking third party. Wow.
Well, I mean, I was pro Green towards the end of 2016 too, but I really don't care for Jill Stein compared to who they're running this time. I feel like she said a lot of things that were not too good when it came to like, you know, getting certain amounts of people, but yeah, overall, I mean, I feel like there's a good history to the party, and I guess I can just start by getting into the first thing I have here. And I don't know, looking into the Green Party, it was actually really fucking confusing to me, because I thought that this was a really fucking new party, because, you know, the current one that we have right now was founded in 2001, so it's not even 20 years old yet. But there was another Green Party, which was called, okay, so the main Green Party, which we have now, is called Green Party of the United States. And there was another Green Party before that, which was called Green Party USA. It's basically the same.
It sounds like a fucking like a magazine that would cover like weed news stories. Like it doesn't sound like an actual political movement.
Yeah, a lot of people just call it the fucking Green Party, though, but most people don't know that there was one before this. Like, there's actually a huge fucking history in the Green Party of, like, a lot of competition between, like, the more liberal-minded people in the party and, like, more socialist-minded people. Like, there's a lot of socialist-minded people in the Green Party, and that was kind of the reason that there was sort of a rift to begin with. The current Green Party we have is them trying to kind of, like, you know, get all the green organizations together, which were kind of disenfranchised with each other at the time. So, and yeah, the thing is that they also existed at the same time for a while, which is really weird. So, yeah, there was like multiple Green Parties in the United States for a while.
Green Tech USA.
So, yeah, that first one that I mentioned too, the Green Party USA, that actually wasn't even formally disbanded until last year. They were just like, yeah, even though we haven't done anything for like 20 years, we're just gonna fuck off now.
It's like deleting like a shitty old Facebook page you made back in like 2007.
Dude, I've done some of those recently. Dude, like, okay, let's delete this, and this. Oh, definitely delete
this
that.
never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it gets like one sad react from one person who's like, no, and then nobody else gives a shit, even though it had like 700 likes. Yeah, I've been there, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have been there. Yeah.
Yeah, so Green Party USA, rest in peace.
Yep. Rest in peace. Formerly last. It's weird that they did it last year. They didn't even do it in the last election cycle or like during this year. Like they did it last year of all times. Like, and they just sent it. You know, they didn't even do anything official. They just sent out a fucking email apparently to like the people who were supporting.
So they're not even like holding an event like in honor of the people who found it. Like, there's nothing going on at all. It's just like an email. Like. Which I can guarantee you, like, that it arrived in, like, half the people's fucking spam inboxes. There's no way it actually, like, reached every person that, you know, signed up for it initially.
No, because apparently those emails were only gone. I think they only went out to people who, like, supported them still financially. So basically, like, have you ever, like, forgot to, like, unsupport someone on Patreon and you're just like, you know, I don't even watch their content anymore.
Yeah,
but
I've lost, like, fucking $100 by just supporting a bunch of people who don't even make content anymore.
Yeah, dude. I've done that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically what these people did, and they were like, holy shit, I didn't know I was wasting all that money the entire time.
I mean, to be fair, that's most of the people who still support me on Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why like there was such a rift between those two parties for a while, most people that seem to think that it's because the GP USA, they didn't really care about elections. They were more of like an activist group. They did like fundraising events and shit like that. Like they tried to do other types. They didn't really seek trying to get into office. Basically, they didn't even give a shit about that. And the current Green Party, even though they aren't extremely successful at that, in fact, they haven't even had a role in federal government yet, only local offices. But at least they've actually tried to get some fucking people to make a fucking change in local government and shit. The Green Party USA was trying to be a political party without actually being a political party. It was just like an advocacy group, which is kind of sad.
Wow. So off to a rough start, I'd say.
Yeah, basically this political party wasn't even a fucking political party. And apparently there was like some power grab that the GP USA, which is just what I'm going to call like the first party going forward. Apparently there was some huge rift like in 2001, and that's what led to the creation of the Green Party that we have today, because apparently there was like there's political corruption in the fucking early on Green Party, so they had to start another one, which I don't know, that just says a lot about the political status of how America is, when even these small third parties trying to get away from fucking the two-party system can have this type of corruption in them. But seems like the current Green Party has done a lot better job in at least the last 19 years.
Yeah, it's funny to me that like you have these two monolithic parties that have had a stranglehold on the political system for so long, and that fact alone is used to explain why the Green Party makes sense, but it's also used to explain why not supporting the Green Party makes sense. Like, because people say like they have no chance of fucking winning.
It's a circular logic.
Yeah. So it's like, they're not going to win because nobody supports them, and nobody should support them because they can't win.
And the thing is, too, is that's not just used against Greens and Libertarians. That's also used against Bernie Sanders, which I think a lot of people learned the hard way. So that's why I don't understand why so many people still fall for this idea. Like, I'm not going to vote for somebody who can't win, I mean,
people made the same argument against voting for Trump, though, and he won.
Well, and no one
that's why you get to, it's a fucking fallacy. It's the idea that you can't win. It can't happen because it's never happened before, so therefore it's never gonna happen. We see shit happen all the time that's never happened before.
Dude,
yeah,
that's true.
It's a
unprecedented things happen all the fucking time. Like, do you guys remember?
Yeah, that's why that word exists.
Exactly. And you guys remember when there was news media outlets in 2015 or so, like pushing out these news stories saying, oh yeah, Trump's got a 2% chance to win.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people didn't go out and vote because they thought that Hillary had it in the bag.
Wow.
Yep.
And it's funny because a lot of those news media organizations later went on to shun the American people for not voting for Hillary. It's like, you fucking told them she had it in the bag. What are you fucking talking about?
And now they're shaming people for not voting for Biden, who, like, you know what happened? Like, back in 2016, I was like, that Hillary or Clinton, that was a terrible choice, but there's no way they could possibly pick someone worse down the line. Like, no one's can be worse than Hillary Clinton. Like, she's the worst that it gets, right? And then they pulled out Joe Biden.
We went from Pokemon go to the polls to, what was it? I have hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. It's like... Dude, if this is the political system of the modern era, then I mean, like, why bother, honestly?
And I'm pretty sure that other than fucking Bloomberg, Biden was the worst when it came to the fucking corporatists that the Democrats were pushing up this fucking election cycle. But that's just how the fucking chess fell. That's probably not even the one that they wanted. I guarantee you they wanted someone more like fucking Officer Kamala in the fucking nomination. And I just goddamn, like, Joe Biden, talk about an incompetent fucking choice. Like, what's going on? What the fuck is going on? This joke of an election cycle between two fucking jokes of human beings, in my opinion.
Oh, and speaking of which, I'm going to make a prediction on the show. Joe Biden is going to pick Kamala as his VP. It's going to happen.
Well, he did say it would be a woman.
It's definitely going to be a woman. I mean, like, that's something that, like, it's a virtue signal move they have to make at this point. So it's going to be Kamala. I mean, like, she's heavily pro fucking status quo and like pro police state.
No. Here's what's gonna happen. Here's my prediction right here. Because this is the most conniving thing that they can possibly do. They're gonna try and get as many progressives behind them and against Bernie Sanders as possible by making Elizabeth Warren his vice president.
No, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I 100% believe that. That's why she never talked about endorsing Bernie. That's why she never endorsed Bernie. She wants that vice presidency, and they're going to give it to her because they want to fuck over Bernie Sanders and his image as much as fucking possible.
I don't think they're going to reward Elizabeth Warren in that way.
They will. Oh, yes, they will, because they know that can fuck with the progressives as much as possible. They want that rift between the progressives, man.
Okay,
what's stopping them?
But the problem is, though, because Elizabeth Warren didn't drop out when they wanted her to and didn't support Biden, she's still viewed as one of them.
But she won Biden the fucking election, or the primary, I should say. She won him the fucking primary by not dropping out when she did.
It didn't hinge on her. In fact, it was more Maya Pete and Amy Klobuchar dropping out. Her dropping out did have something to do with it. It did.
She split the fucking progressives.
She did.
It's true.
But that's the problem.
Do it again, man.
But that's why the establishment still views her as a progressive. Because to the establishment she is. The establishment still views her as radical on certain issues. I really don't think they want her, like, anywhere near the fucking... Especially when you know that there's a good chance Biden might drop out and let his VP succeed him. So I think it'd be probably someone more like Amy Klobuchar.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the important thing. Like, she didn't drop out. Yeah, when she might not have dropped out when she needed to in their perception, but like I said, she still fucking gave him that nomination, and she proved by not endorsing him that she doesn't stand by those ideas, that she's willing to be bought and paid for. So it's just telling about her character. You don't think she's gonna make that offer at least?
I
think so.
Here's a scenario that probably blows in the face of everything I just said, but here's a scenario that I could see maybe being a possibility. I mean, there is the fact that, hey, Bernie Sanders refused to support Elizabeth Warren as a fucking VP. That could either mean that he doesn't view her as a progressive, or that he doesn't want the establishment to view her as a progressive.
I think it more has to do with her accusing him of being a sexist.
No, that's probably that probably is. But I'm just putting on my conspiracy theorist hat for a second and saying, hey, how do we know that Bernie isn't trying to do just that? Make it look like, yeah, okay, I'm against her. She's not on my side. We're enemies, and she's not a progressive. So that Joe Biden might pick her as a VP, so that there actually could be a more progressive president. Now that's just pure speculation, but that's the point. Anything is fucking possible, and we don't fucking know. There's a number of fucking possibilities. The thing is, I don't think the establishment is going to fall for that. I don't think they like Warren enough, but I do think Amy Klobuchar, for someone like Biden and his interests, would be a much safer bet. At least from where they're coming from. Now, Warren, from a practical sense, because, yeah, I would actually get... you see, if they were smart, maybe they would pick Warren, because, yeah, I would get the young people more of the young people on their side.
No, it's not smart. It's conniving. It's fucking conniving, and there's nothing more conniving than the Democratic Party right now.
I mean, look, I'd rather have though Vice President Warren than Vice President Klobuchar.
I mean, sure.
And I'd rather have I'd rather have
guess.
President Warren than President Biden or President Klobuchar. So
I mean, sure, yeah.
If that's how it turns out, I guess it's better than fucking Biden, but it's still a shitty situation.
No, it's not. It's not.
If
because
Biden
that's
drops
gonna,
out
like,
and gives to...
It's going to cause this irreparable wound among, like, progressive-minded voters that'll never repair.
Well, I don't know. It depends how Bernie handles it at that point. Maybe Bernie that point would, like...
I'm sorry, but I don't think he won't. I don't think he will.
Elizabeth Warren is my very good friend. You know, there was some things said on the campaign trail, but at the end of the day, she's my very good friend. And she called me a sexist, but hey, you know, she's a wonderful person and she would never lie.
Damn, so Bernie's just gonna be
except for her being Native American. Aside from that tiny little detail,
wait,
she would never tell a lie.
I'm not gonna speak on that. I don't have any. I'm not gonna get down in the mud or anything like that. Okay, let's keep it to policy.
You know, when that fucking happened, I thought to myself, like, the Native Americans, haven't they fucking suffered enough? Like, without Elizabeth Warren pretending to be one of them.
Well, hey, at least, dude, can I just say, from her fucking whitewashed perspective, she probably viewed it as, hey, I'm doing them a service because now they have a fucking Native American.
Now they have a voice.
Yeah, they have a voice.
Yeah,
that's. I bet she looked at it that way, dude. I'm doing a good thing.
Oh, dude, Elizabeth Warren was just trying to be the Lorax for Native Americans.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
Anyway, so Green Party.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say we can continue on this.
The Tangent Show.
So yeah, this kind of plays into the whole this whole argument that people shouldn't vote for the Green Party kind of started in 2000 because there was the election between George W. Bush and Al Gore, and Ralph Nader was notoriously villainized since the Greens managed to gain about 3% of the vote at that time, which was huge for them. Like that was huge progress. And keep in mind that it takes 5% of the vote to get on the debate stage. So that was a lot of fucking progress back then. So basically, people tried to spin Nader as the spoiler because he got a decent chunk, or not. I guess it's not that much, but for a third party, it was a lot. So because he got that little bit of a fucking vote, people are trying to paint him as a spoiler, which he pretty much denies to this day. And the only reason I brought this up because it goes to show that Democrats trying to put their failures on progressives is nothing new here in America. Jill Stein didn't get jack shit in 2016, but people still call her a spoiler that lost Hillary the election, when that's not the case at all. It's just not.
It's funny because like most people are willing to acknowledge the fact that like this two-party system is not a good idea. And as soon as like anyone outside of that realm enters the arena and they're like, hey, I'm this like semi-independent third-party person, it's like, you fucking spoiler, ruining our election, grabbing these votes.
What it comes down to me is, and it really sickens me, is this view from both parties, but a lot more so from the Democratic Party, especially lately. I mean, let's be honest, most Republicans don't really give a shit. They're like, you want to vote for Biden, go vote for Biden. You want to vote for Trump, vote for Trump.
You know what I'll say? I will say this. I just want to say this real fast. Yeah. I don't see nearly as many Republicans shitting on the Libertarian Party. I don't even really see many doing it at all.
No, they don't.
Compared to Democrats shitting on Greens.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But no, that's what I'm saying. That the Democratic Party is especially guilty of this, and what it is they're extremely fucking if they feel entitled to people's votes. They think, oh, what? You're not a Republican, so you're voting for us, right? I mean, your vote belongs to us. If you don't,
you don't want that guy to win, right?
You don't lean right, then your vote belongs to us, and if you're not with us, you're against us. And it's like, well, motherfucker, maybe I'm not with you or against you. Maybe I'm gonna vote for you if your values align with mine, and maybe if they don't, then I'm not gonna bother. Maybe that's how it is, and I don't owe my vote to anybody. I mean, I'm not an American voter, but you know what I'm saying. As an individual, you don't owe your fucking vote to anybody. Your vote doesn't belong to the Democratic Party, and I'm so sick of this. And I just want people to remember, when you're thinking of you're gonna vote Green Party, or you're gonna not vote, or you're gonna write someone in like Bernie or fucking whatever, like, just remember that the Democratic Party does not own you. They don't owe you anything. You don't owe them anything. In fact, what have they done for you recently? What have they actually done for you recently? I mean, look, for most of us, they've actually been shitting on us recently. Sorry. They took away our preferred candidate. They talked about us.
Yang. Sorry.
All our preferred candidates, all of them shit upon. The DNC knew who they wanted from the start. They said, it's like my fucking analogy from that video I put up on Dark A Corruptions. You know, your mother comes in and asks you, hey, do you want chicken? What do you want for dinner? And you say, oh, I want lasagna. And it's like, no, you don't. You want chicken, right? It's like, oh, well, actually, I'd like soup. It's like, no, you want chicken. It's like, there's already fucking chicken in the oven. We already picked chicken. Fuck you for thinking you get a choice. You don't get a choice. We weren't actually asking you. You know?
And if you don't pick chicken, you're picking, you're allowing like dog shit to be the fucking dinner of the night.
You're picking Hitler. You're picking Hitler at that point. That's the argument a lot of these people
literally Hitler for dinner.
I just want to bring this up. I just want to bring this up because this is really relevant to this conversation. But I get this. I've had this argument recently on Twitter with someone, and someone said, "No, this election cycle. You don't want Trump to appoint more fucking Supreme Court judges, do you? This is the one election. Like after this, we can start having the conversation about third parties. This election is too important." But they don't understand. That's the argument that's going to be made until the end of fucking time.
Every election that
and it goes on and on.
By the way,
it never ends.
Can I just give my response to that? Okay,
it's a never-ending story. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's how I look at this. Okay, because we live in a country with a fucked up political system called the Electoral College that no one quite understands how it works, but everyone fucking hates it and wishes it was gone.
Okay, I'll explain. It's there to subvert democracy. If the people are a bit too fucking crazy with their democratic ideas, the Electoral College is there to preclude that from having any effect.
So anyway, the point is, look, we're in a country where your vote matters depending on what state and district you live in. So here's how I look at it, okay? If you're actually afraid of the judges that Trump is going to elect, then if you are in a purple state or you're in a swing state that might go fucking red and you're actually afraid of that, go vote for Biden. But that really is the only justification I can see to vote for Biden. If you live in a solid blue state and you weren't going to vote for Biden anyway, or you live in a solid red state and it's not going to make a fucking difference, then vote however the fuck you want. Vote for the fucking third party or fucking write-in or whatever you want to do. We know the third party probably isn't going to fucking win, but you know what? The more votes behind it, the better it looks. And if it gets up to fucking 5%, which, hey, it's a long shot, but the more, like it can get closer and closer every fucking election cycle. Vote for that. It gets fucking 5%, then it gets fucking federal funding. And maybe it can actually be viewed as a serious fucking party. So
the more that, here's the thing, like the more that percentage grows, especially like when it gets to a point, it's going to be like a fucking cavalcade of people coming to this realization that yes, we can vote for a third party and make a difference, grow this movement and grow this party and grow diversity of opinion in this country.
Absolutely, because the more people that vote for it, the more of a percentage it gets every election cycle. The more people will see. If you can show there is actually an upward trend in voting for third parties, and show people, look, this is actually becoming viable. You don't have to choose the giant douche or the turd sandwich. You don't have to choose the shit sundae or the vomit milkshake. Okay, you can fucking go outside of the two fucking shitty options you're given, and throw your support, the little bit of political power you have, behind another party.
That's the thing, dude. They want to fool you into believing that a little bit, but if we had some faith what we could do and fucking voted like for what we actually believe in, we'd have a lot more power than they want.
Well, that's the thing. They're making it. It's true. They're making it a little bit of power because when you vote for just like, oh, I'm just going to throw my vote away for Biden or Trump or whatever the default person is, that is making your vote count less because it's just another vote in the sea of voters for the fucking two establishment parties that everyone votes for anyway. And by the way, a majority of what is it? Actually, well, I'm not going to talk out of my ass. I know there's a huge amount of the country that doesn't vote. I don't know if it's a majority, but there's
it actually is a majority.
It is. Okay.
Oh, really?
So a majority of the
it's over half.
Yeah, a majority of the country doesn't vote, guys. And you're saying, guys, think about what that means. That means, okay, let's assume 50% of the fucking country is voting. 50% of eligible voters are voting. Half of them are voting Republican. Half of them are voting Democrat. That leaves, if another fucking 25% of the country were to vote Green Party, that would that could split the vote in like 3. Right, in thirds. Think about that. That's. I think my math is right on that. I'm not a math expert, but that you get what I'm saying. Okay, there's a lot of people that don't vote, and if they did vote for a third party or for one of these other options or something, maybe they would be viable. So don't sit there.
Okay, but I think you should bear in mind though, like we know that in some states. No, not that. I mean, like, we know that in some states, like, these voting machines have been just fucked with by the people holding those votes.
Well, I mean,
so, yes. I mean, like, for like a new party to pop up and question the status quo and say, hey, we're going to do things the fucking democratic way, I just don't see them allowing that.
Yeah, I don't know. There does need to be some big structural change.
We need to see change. We need to see change in local elections first. We need to start off like with mayorships and shit. Bernie Sanders was a fucking mayor before he was anywhere else. Keep that in mind. Like, things start off at a small level and then you build them up.
Okay, but look at what happened. I mean, like they fucking did everything in their ability to ruin his name.
Yeah, because he worked within a fucking corrupt political party and pretended like he could change it.
Yeah, so imagine what happens when someone questions that and they try to step outside the box.
I mean, honestly, if Bernie had run third party, I don't know how things might have turned out differently. Maybe he could have gotten I don't think he would have won this election, but
Bernie
maybe
has won as a third party candidate before in different types of elections, and we'll talk about that a little later. So, but what you're gonna say?
No, but I was just going to say, maybe he could have gotten some more traction. Maybe he could have gotten... You know what he might have been able to actually accomplish? He might have actually been able to accomplish pushing that fucking third-party vote over 5%.
Could have gotten the Greens on the debate stage.
Yeah, he might have been able to do that.
I don't think it's a question. No, I don't even think it's a fucking question. He could have gotten the Greens on the debate stage.
Now, he wouldn't have won, though. I think he did probably have a better chance of winning the Democratic, although it was still a huge fucking hurdle. And I mean, the DNC did everything to stop that, but...
And here's the thing, like, Bernie, as much as I love the guy, like, he made so many mistakes on this election cycle, and I find it funny because I didn't actually pull this. It's not on my notes or anything, but Howie Hawkins, who's the presumptive nominee for the fucking Green Party nomination at this point, because they do have their own primary and shit. He wants to have a conversation with Kyle Kalinske, and I didn't see if he accepted it yet. He really should.
Dude, that is awesome. Really that is awesome. Because like you guys were saying, and like I've seen a lot of people say, and I've been saying, this is what should have been happening with Bernie. I don't know why the fuck I don't know why the fuck Bernie Sanders didn't have his little 10-minute conversation with Kyle and be like, this person is brilliant. I need to fucking have more conversations with him. I don't get it. I know there were people in Bernie's campaign that were fans of Kyle. I don't know why Kyle wasn't I'm sorry, Kyle should have been more involved in Bernie's campaign. Abso-fucking-lutely.
My assumption is that it has to do with Kyle being so critical of people like Joe Biden.
I mean, maybe part of the problem, right?
I don't know.
They don't like that. Like, if you listen to the way Bernie answers any kind of softball question, where it's like, well, some people say that Joe Biden did this or said that. It's like, maybe he did. I don't know. He's my friend. It's
Okay,
like,
but-
okay, you.
Bernie has surrogates like Nina Turner who are very outspoken against Biden, Warren, and all those fuckers. Like, have you heard Nina Turner? Like, she's fucking gone right after fucking Biden. Like maybe she's not gone after him as hard as Kyle has, but that's the thing. Bernie could have easily used the same thing of like, look, this person doesn't speak for me. This person can say what they fucking want. That's their opinion. Okay?
It all comes down to the core of the issue that they needed to go after Biden more, I think.
They did.
And I think definitely Bernie could have used a bigger social media presence. I think Kyle could have been a big part of that.
His social media presence is pretty solid, but it's not comparable to like Yang. Yang had.
I'm talking about like, within the context of, the year is 2020. I mean, like at this point, you have to maximize that. Television ads are only going to push you so far. I mean, like we saw that with Bloomberg, and Yang called that. He knew that it would eventually be ineffectual.
Yeah, there needs to be more support for new media. I don't know why Bernie should have been having interviews with Kyle Kalinske, the Young Turks, Jimmy Dore, whatever, whoever, like Tim Black, people like that. He should have been going to these small fucking lefty fucking YouTubers. And by the way, I agree with TJ was saying recently that what these YouTubers need to do, what these small left-wing fucking news outlets need to do is start a fucking coalition, fucking group together and start some sort of network and try and grow and be taken more seriously, because people like fucking Ben Shapiro and fucking Steven Crowder are fucking taken pretty seriously by the right wing. But you don't see that on the left wing. We have these small fucking news channels and no one pays attention. Rising is another good one. No one pays attention to them. They're not given the attention. I mean, yeah, they'll get some good guests. I mean, Rising gets some fucking decent guests from time to time, but that's about the biggest, like, and they're not even lefty because they're like they try to be non-partisan. They have their hosts are a right winger and a left winger, so that doesn't even count. Like, we need more of this. We need more fucking, if not left wing, then at least non-partisan or like, we need more small fucking media. It's so important.
That's why we're doing this.
I mean, like
show,
we've seen that people are willing to set aside their differences. We saw that with Yang's base of supporters. You had conservatives, liberals, independents, even libertarians, even though like he proposed UBI, which many would argue is like a big government kind of idea.
But
I mean, like, despite that, you still had like a fairly dedicated following of people who were like, hey, we're going to set aside our differences and consolidate.
I don't want my government to be big. I want it to be thick.
And veiny.
You know what?
Come.
Can I just say...
I don't know where I was going, but okay.
Can I just say, I'm sick of the big government argument. You know what? The government is going to be big, and the government is only going to grow. So you know what?
Yeah, I mean, by definition, to govern means to control by force.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, what do you think? This organization that it calls itself the government is going to be like, hey...
I want a small government. Oh, yeah, okay, a small
government. It should not even like be about
like?
the fucking size of government. It should be about the fucking functionality of it.
Exactly. It should be about, look, the government is going to be in control. What do we want them actually doing? What do we want them doing with the resources and the fucking taxpayer money that they have? Like, how do we want them using that? That's what it should be about.
Funding the military even more.
Killing brown people overseas. Bombing brown people.
Bomb Iran.
Anyway.
It's funny, like an actual fucking politician went up on stage and sang that, and people were like, yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Bomb, Iran.
Dude, Carlin was fucking right. Like, if you have like a society full of brown people, watch the fuck out. Like, we're gonna bomb them.
Yeah, dude.
You're just like, anyway. Yeah.
We're coming to
Dude,
bomb.
Anyway, Green Party, we're doomed.
Yeah. Yep, we're all doomed. But okay,
Vote
so
green.
my next, dude, if. I don't know. I think people should vote third party. If you want to vote for the Libertarians, that's fine. I have a friend who wants to vote Libertarian. I'm not really all about them. I guess I'll see who wins their nomination. Maybe it'll be someone actually decent. But I do intend to vote for the Greens unless something weird happens. But all right. As of 2016, I couldn't get any more recent numbers than this, unfortunately. Probably just because we'll get our numbers again this year. But there are about 143 office holders total affiliated with the Green Party in the United States, though they were all mostly positions in the local government. As a Green Party nominee has never been elected to the federal government. And I do want to bring this up because it's not related to the Green Party, but the Libertarians made a stride recently, apparently, because they actually got a position in the federal government. I'd have to look into it. We can probably do an episode on the Libertarian Party eventually, and I'll get into that more.
Did fucking Adam Kokesh become mayor of New York? What the hell happened?
No, they got into the federal government, not a mayorship or anything. So that means,
shit.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, cool.
That I believe that's history. They made history. So,
hey, Libertarians, congratulations! You actually did something.
Yeah, good for them. Maybe they'll accomplish something good this election cycle. Maybe they'll inch their way closer to that 5%.
Maybe they use like the typical libertarian argument where it's like, you're actually a libertarian, you just don't know it. They use the one of us gobble gobble argument that they always fucking trot out in online discussions.
Jay.
Gobble gobble, small government. Yeah.
Here's the thing, Jay, and I don't agree with this personally, but some people would make the argument that it's better for the libertarians to get up there on that debate stage first because they'll be able to split up the conservative vote, which I don't really agree. I don't like that type of logic because I'm not super big on getting Democrats into office just for the sake of it.
But I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that because there's another thing to that as well. That sets a precedent for third parties being taken more seriously.
True, exactly. So even though I'm not a libertarian,
right.
I'm not big on capital L libertarians,
Right. Neither am I, but that's the thing. If that party actually gains some traction, and one, they'll split up the conservative vote. Two, it'll set a precedent for, and maybe even because the fucking conservative vote is split, the establishment will be more willing to let the fucking Green Party be a thing. Be like, okay, we need this rebalanced. Okay, fine. Let's have another liberal party as well, so that
I'm sorry, you mean a liberal party?
A liberal. Yeah, another.
We don't have one.
Yeah, a liberal party.
A classic liberal party.
We have a center-right party and we have a center party, which isn't actually centrist.
Classical.
Classical liberal.
And here's the thing, I want people to understand, 2024, if the libertarians do well this election cycle, we'll be living in a world without Donald Trump, and there's no one who can replace him if you like him or hate him. So, I mean, a lot of those people who voted Trump, they really don't fucking like people like Ted Cruz and Jeb Bush and shit. They fucking hate those people. A lot of Trump.
All right, it's official. Vote Adam Kokesh now.
Snort Adam Kokesh 2024.
Is he still running for president? Because I remember people talking about that for a few seconds.
He is, but you want to know something crazy? He's one less of the fucking primary or delegations, or I don't know what the fuck it is. He's one less delegations than fucking Vermin Supreme. By the way, Vermin Supreme said he'd be interested in coming on the show someday. So
damn, dude,
yeah,
that'd be dope.
Oh yeah,
let's get a president.
Maybe we'll even have him on for.
Let's get a presidential candidate on stream, yo. Let's interview him.
Right, I've changed my mind. Fuck Adam Kokesh and vote Vermin Supreme 2020.
Hey, maybe that would be a good episode to do on libertarianism.
That's what I was just saying, man. We could have. It could be an interesting conversation.
Come on our show.
Let us know, Vermin. Audience. Let us know. Do you want to see that? Yes or no?
Vermin Supreme. Yeah, dude. Of course they do. You guys want it. It's gonna be dope.
And you know this.
You want it all, and you want it now.
So I guess I can finish up the section on the Green Party, so that we're, man, we've had a lot of conversation about just this one fucking section, but there's a couple more after this. So yeah. This is the part where I think a lot of people will get apprehensive. So the Green Party follows what they describe as 4 pillars of green policies, which are as follows: ecological wisdom, grassroots democracy, nonviolence, and here's the one that's going to piss people off, and social justice.
I mean,
all right.
Okay.
So what do they imply by that, though? Like reparations or what specifically?
Well, can I just say I'm for social justice, okay? And while I will admit, out of the 3 of us, I'm probably the more SJW out of all of us. I'm not an SJW, but I'm for social justice. And if you're using if you're using the term right
Sorry.
to mean like actual social justice, yes, I want a society where everyone's treated equally. I don't want black people to be disproportionately fucking harassed by police. I don't want Mexican people or Latino people to have to fear for their lives because of immigration or ICE bullshit. I don't want women to have to worry about their reproductive rights. Those are areas of social justice that I agree with.
I don't want Mexican people to be like chased out by ICP either, but
the problem.
I just want to say to anyone. Go ahead. You can finish what you're gonna say.
No, the problem is like the idea of social justice has been so tainted by these social justice warriors who probably don't even understand what the idea of social justice means themselves. They just have a fucking pie in the sky idea of like, yeah, everything's gonna go my way, and we're gonna fight and start a revolution and fuck the establishment.
To me, it doesn't even seem like a lot of those people are in favor of justice. It seems like they're just vindictive.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. If someone actually does talk about true social justice, I'm not going to blame that. I'm never going to blame someone for using a word by its intended definition and saying, no, this is what I mean by this, and I actually hold to these values, no matter what other people might use these values to fucking, like this is what I believe in, and I'm not gonna let other people fucking taint that, and I can kind of respect that. So I'm just gonna say, like, the idea that social justice is a bad word, no, it's not. It's actually something we need to strive for. But a lot of people take it too fucking far. They take it to identity politics and oppression.
It's kind of like
Olympics.
implied when you talk about like liberty and justice for all.
Right, but yes, but do the fucking conservative or liberal parties, Republican and Democratic parties, even come close to fighting for that? You kind of do have to put it in your platform these days.
It's
Especially
a
in
pithy
this
saying
country.
that's been around for a long time. I mean, like, we're talking about a saying that's been around since, like, fucking...
A saying that's lost all meaning. Really?
These four pillars, I just want to say, these four pillars existed long before social justice warriors.
I mean, like, you could have fucking asked, like, the Chinese Americans in the 40s, like, how do you feel about liberty and justice for all? Are you feeling that right now? As we fucking shove you into fucking war camps? I mean... It's such an empty statement that it's like, when the Green Party comes along and it's like social justice, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, specifically what and how?
So let's take a look at some of their notable policies and their individual policies.
Okay,
that's my next exact bullet point, because this is what I actually.
I'm actually surprised they have those. So I look forward to.
That's what you got to do though when you see those words. You got to dig deeper and
These aren't any ones in particular that, I mean, I just picked out the notable ones. There's plenty of fucking things that they have on their fucking website, which you can take a look at. But I think most of these are fucking are things that I would agree with. So.
I wanna apologize to all the Japanese Americans in the audience. Somebody actually corrected me in the chat. Yeah, Japanese Americans in the 40s. My bad.
Dude. Oh no! Oh no!
It's funny because like prior to going live, Animaster was like, "I'm kind of high, and I'm afraid I'm gonna say something racist." I'm like, "Don't worry about it."
Underhaven no longer
20 minutes later, it's like, by the way, these Chinese it's like fucking King of the Hill. So are you Chinese or Japanese? I can't do a southern accent, but you get the point.
Are you Chinese or Japanese?
So are you Chinese or Japanese? Whoa!
Wow.
Okay,
so
stop
policies.
Okay.
Policies.
Right, yeah,
go.
I went kind of overboard there for a second. All right, so
just a bit.
Yeah. So some of their notable policies are single-payer healthcare, tuition-free college, abolition of the death penalty, banning of private prisons, weed legalization, same-sex marriage. Here's an interesting one. Some people might not agree with. Cutting aid to Israel.
I agree.
And withdrawing foreign aid from anti-LGBT countries.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
You know what? We support too many countries that don't deserve our support. And here's the thing, and I've touched upon this before. The whole reason for the Israel thing, the only reason that we support Israel is because of fucking religious nut jobs.
Money.
Okay, yes, money. But but it's cloaked in something more insidious than that, and it's the fucking.
You're right.
It's religious motivation. There's a lot of religious motivation to it. Like, that's why a lot of fucking Republicans and a lot of religious people, especially even Christians that don't particularly like Jews, they defend Israel because they believe that's their Christian duty. They have to, like, how do you think, okay, yes, the government who supports Israel, yeah, they do it for money, but how do you think they convince so many people to support that shit? It's all religiously motivated, at least on the part of the voter that actually votes for those policies. And so yeah,
it's because like the invisible
stop.
Man in the sky who has yet to be proven to exist wants that.
It's
you know what I hate?
It needs to stop because there's no proven reason why like us helping is like it's never helped us. Like Israel has never done anything for us. Why are we fucking going
but
to
Jay,
war
have
with
you
other
considered
countries
the following argument? Have you considered the following? You're anti-Semitic if you don't.
No, I'm not anti-Semitic if I don't. Just like I'm not.
Okay, Hitler.
I'm not anti-Canadian if I say America shouldn't support Canada. I'm not anti-fucking North Korean if I say, look, America, and this might come as a shock to people. America should take care of America first. Okay, I'm not saying foreign aid shouldn't be a thing, but goddamn, America sticks its nose in way too many places it doesn't fucking belong. And you know what? Maybe we can go back to doing that once we have a country that is secure and livable here at home. Okay?
Something to point out, which is really fucking hypocritical. So, you know, I hear conservative-minded people all the time talking about how bad it is that, oh man, immigrants and illegal immigrants in this country get too much for fucking free. We should be putting Americans first. But you guys advocate for all this fucking money going out to fucking Israel, which is a country that has no fucking right getting all this the Israelis live better than us on our money, on our fucking tax money, and that's fucking ridiculous. There's no reason for that. If you want to put America first, don't be a fucking hypocrite and put America first in every single fucking regard if you're going to be that way. Let's actually put America first and cut all the fucking funding from these shitty fucking countries that don't deserve our fucking help. Fuck that.
By the way, can I just debunk that for 1 second? The notion that, oh, like we too much money goes to fucking illegal immigrants and not only like illegal immigrant, because I hear like, oh, the immigrants on welfare and illegals on welfare. Not only are illegal, it's not even possible for an illegal immigrant to get on welfare. It's not even possible for a legal immigrant to get on welfare. For about 5 years after you've officially moved to America, you are not able to apply for any kind of social assistance whatsoever. The person that sponsored you to come live in the United States is completely financially responsible for you, not the government. So that just needs to be said for all the fucking right wingers and people who think that's a thing.
Also, I can dislike Israel because of their fucking, you know, military history and fucking imperialistic attitudes, and still like Jewish people. I like their hats. They're, you know, Jewish people are just as cool as anything else.
No, I have Jewish friends, and dude, Bernie Sanders is a Jew. Okay, I supported Bernie Sanders, and I thought, fuck yeah, we would have had the first Jewish president. You know, I'm all for that, but you know what? I don't believe in supporting a country for nothing. I don't believe in just supporting a country because some fucking ancient book of fairy tales told us to. Anyway,
I completely agree.
Okay, you know what, Jay? Don't.
Just like we shouldn't support the UK just because Harry Potter told us that that's what a Ministry of Magic is.
What? Oh, I see.
You know, you're fucking treading on thin ice, Jay. Thin fucking ice.
Here's why Underhaven.
I am equating the Bible to Harry Potter. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
I'm kidding. I like that.
One's entertaining and easy to read, and you know it's comfy and easy to wear. You know.
Yeah, dude.
Only
2 people are gonna get that, but you know you are. All right.
Yeah.
So,
the point being, the Bible is bullshit and the Quran is a lie.
That's all I really have on the.
Did not fall from the sky.
Hell yeah.
That's all I really have on the Green Party part of things.
Okay. Something that I want to add to the whole social justice thing is and I've talked quite a bit about this, like on Twitter. Maybe not quite a bit, but I made a tweet about it, I guess. why the? I mean, like, if we're in favor of like social justice, I mean, legalize all fucking drugs. I'm being serious, because I mean, like, we're talking about like the ability to do like whatever you want with your own being.
Right.
That to me seems like a very like basic foundation on which you can build like social justice. Like, hey, your body, your fucking choice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that as a whole. And they are, the Green Party is like pro-abortion. They do support weed legalization. They're in the right direction, but they don't. At least I didn't see them.
I'm not talking about abortion and weed though. I'm talking about like everything.
Dude, I've said this.
I know.
I've heard other people say this. Andrew Yang should run for the Green Party, dude. Andrew Yang
fits in that well. I really don't know if he fits that well. I mean, he really doesn't fit with the Democrats either, but probably better with the Greens. I don't know though, man.
You know what? I think
I don't know.
I would think like I haven't heard him say anything against the Green New Deal.
He's in favor, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's one of the people in favor. If I'm reading, let me check this. I have this written down. Yes, Andrew Yang. Yeah, he's come out publicly in favor of the Green New Deal. So.
Chess is saying that Tulsi should run third party just to troll the libs. that was the thing though. She was accused of that for so long. It was like, she's gonna run third party. Tulsi's gonna run third party, and she's like, I'm not running third party. Like, yes, she is. She's a Russian asset. I'm not.
I think between Bernie, Tulsi, and Yang, she's the least likely to go to the third party. I just don't know why. I just don't see her like going into a third party.
Which is funny because I mean, like, she used to be really conservative, so it's like she's willing to switch label depending on her own values.
She could probably be a libertarian, honestly.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. That's an entirely different conversation. Maybe we could just do an entire because honestly, I wrote down social justice here. I didn't have a chance to look into every little detail about like everything that I looked up, so I don't really know like what the definition is by. I'll have to look into like what the historical definition of social justice was, especially around the time that these pillars were created. Maybe we'll do an entire episode on that.
I mean, I would imagine that social justice probably aligned pretty closely to what like the civil rights movement was fighting for, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Probably.
I feel like they're gonna have to clarify that if they want to have like any chance of convincing anyone to support them.
That's really what social justice is an offshoot of is like the idea of social, and yeah, social justice warriors are kind of a malignant offshoot of the civil rights movement, because they're a fucking group of people that are basically just like, oh yeah, well, never enough, we have to have everything, we are always oppressed, and the oppressors have to fucking pay. Anyone we perceive to be fucking privileged has to fucking shut up and pay their reparations. And it's like, every fucking movement goes too far, but I'm more for like, look, if someone claims to be part of a fucking movement and they align with what the movement is actually for, and it's something that I align with, then I'm gonna be for it. And that's why I'm not gonna get into this now, but me and Animats were talking earlier about the term feminism and why while I don't often append the label to myself, I am a feminist in the classical sense,
I'm more of a
like gender equality.
Liberal.
Yeah, and I'm a feminist. I'm definitely a feminist when it comes to a lot of third world countries. But that doesn't mean that I like the sort of malignant offshoot of feminism that's become prevalent today.
Like the Tumblr brand feminism, where it's like,
I don't agree with
this
that.
fucking this character somebody drew is like, way too scantily clad, or some dumb shit like that.
Here's the problem, though. I think when we act like feminism itself is cancerous, we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater and saying no.
Well, I'm pro-abortion, so I'm in favor of throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
I mean, it's such a wide ideology that it's like, like you could go back in time and find like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like feminism in its like first form, or maybe early on at least, like it mainly, or like primarily, or almost like solely focused on the rights of like white women.
Yeah.
That was like the concern there. And eventually it branded out and expanded to like a more kind of like social justice general form. Which, you know, like I don't like you. I don't go around calling myself a feminist, but I mean, like, you know, if you boil it down to like the bare definition of it, and if the definition you apply is gender equality, then yeah, sure.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not for just judging people based on the labels they append to themselves, because that basically perpetuates the very problem that leads to people like you, me, and Animancer not wanting to use certain labels. I mean, like, no, I don't want to use labels because they have a negative connotation. So if I recognize the fact that labels have a negative connotation, or that people falsely append a negative connotation to a label, then I don't want to do that myself. So I want to try and give people the benefit of the doubt.
I feel like it's easier to just call yourself like a gender egalitarian.
Sure. But that's the thing. Some people don't understand those terms. Some people think that's antithetical to what they're fighting for, or they don't get, like, and that's why I'd rather just, you know, look at the individual person, what they believe. That's why when we see the term social justice on the fucking page for this party, you know, rather than just assuming what that means, we look into that deeper and say, okay, like, what do they actually mean by that? And
sure. We'll do an entire episode on this at some point.
Nothing from that platform, by the way, leads me to think that they're gonna, you know, fight for like, criminalizing misuse of gender pronouns and.
I didn't see any of that on their individual policies.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. So. I didn't see anything crazy. I would have included it if I saw something fucking crazy.
Well, that's
an uncontroversial thing.
And then, like,
that's
dude, like in fucking like size 2 font on the bottom of the page is like P.S. Holocaust 2.0.
Holy shit!
But dude, that's the problem, and that's one of the things that I think hurt people like AOC the most. Where it was certain labels that they're willing to append to themselves, and then people, rather than looking at what those people actually support, they just say, "Oh my God, this is scary, evil socialism, far extremism," and it's like, no, it's not. Like, just look at what someone means when they use a term. Don't just use that term as an excuse to not fucking have to address their actual beliefs, you know.
I mean, again, this is why I prefer gender egalitarian, because I mean, like, it's such a specific thing to call yourself. It's kind of like, you know, how with atheism, it's like, I'm an atheist. People know, like, okay, you don't believe in God, and that's about it. You know, beyond that point, you know, you could make assumptions, but you wouldn't really know unless, you know, you had a conversation with me about any given individual issue.
That's the thing, though. Everybody is different, and everyone is at a different place. Everyone has a different level of education.
Sure, I'm talking about like the luggage that feminism carries, where there's like, you know, oh, there's a patriarchy and stuff like that. Because I mean, like, there are people who are like in favor of gender equality who just don't believe in those concepts.
One thing I'm going to say about patriarchy, I think it exists to an extent. I wouldn't use the term patriarchy because I don't think it's just male dominated. I think it's more of it's more of an oligarchy. You know, that's the
There's
word
not
that
patriarchy, man.
It is. It
Yeah,
isn't. It isn't.
They should be using that.
They should be using the term oligarchy. They will. Yeah, like we're just oppressed. The fucking the fucking owner class is basically like, you know.
It's more about class than race, gender, and all these other things that they try and make us split ourselves up over. And that's one of the biggest tools in their toolbox to keep us separated.
That's the thing. A lot of progressives and a lot of so-called SJWs these days actually believe that. And in fact, when we had Sarah on, I was getting the sense that she was kind of coming from a more reasonable place. And it made it harder to actually have a conversation on her level because of those terms that have baggage. So it ended up... Now, I'm not going to say I agreed with everything she was saying, but, you know, there's definitely something there. There's definitely a common ground that we can reach where it's like, look, I think we're all on the same side. That's the thing. Especially if you're if you're a working class fucking person that just wants the betterment of society, then we're all on the same side. And
it should be.
A lot more of us are. Well, that's the thing. A lot more of us are actually advocating for the same things than we realize, and we end up splitting ourselves along these lines of small differences and small, like, it's the same thing that the fucking Christian church does. Anytime there's a tiny little fucking fracture in beliefs, let's go start a new fucking, there has to be 50 different 50 different denominations in any fucking city now, because everybody has a slightly different brand of what they believe. Why not just focus on what we all believe? I know there's some Christians that are at least able to do that, where it's like, hey, let's just unite under the fact that we all believe in Jesus. Well,
okay, you know how you do that? Getting behind individual ideas instead of like getting behind like, oh, I'm a feminist, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm X,
that's
Y,
why,
and I'm Z.
That leads to the what I think the biggest solution would be, and I don't think the owner class is ever going to let this happen. We're going to have to fight hard to let this happen. What we need in this country, and in what I think every country, is a direct democracy, where we vote on individual issues. We have every 4 years, rather than voting for a person and just hoping and wishing and praying that, oh, they're gonna fucking do what we elected them to do. We let the people vote on all the individual issues: gay marriage, abortion, legalizing marijuana, fucking Medicare for all, free college, all of these things. Let people vote. Ending individual wars. Do we want to end this conflict? Do we want to, whatever. Like, let the people vote on those things. And then the will of the people is actually, rather than having to put our faith into individual people, rather than having to vote for individuals with a prepackaged set of beliefs and hope, it's like the fucking bullshit. It's like the cable company bullshit, dude. Well, like, you want this channel? Oh, well, you have to buy 50 other channels that you don't want. It's like, well, why can't I just have this one thing that I actually want? Nope, doesn't work that way. You have to get this prepackaged fucking, you have to get the Joe Biden package. What, you don't want a border wall, and you don't want immigration to be fucking restricted more, and you don't want racist policies? Well then you have to vote for the Joe Biden package. Oh, you want abortion to be legal? Yeah, you have to vote for the Joe Biden package. What, you don't like?
I hate that shit, man. I really do hate that.
You don't like corporate bailouts and vetoing Medicare and shit like that? Well, fuck you, dude. You want fucking those specific policies, you gotta vote Joe Biden. It's fucking bullshit. I don't think we should be restricted to even, like, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party. I think it should be way broader than that. I think every election should let us vote on every individual issue. And the fucked up thing is, some states actually have that. That actually exists here in New Mexico. That you can vote on individual certain issues statewide. And it's like, why the fuck is that just not how democracy works, like, on a national level for fucking...
Because they want to repress our votes, obviously.
Obviously.
So, we've been an hour in this, and we haven't even gotten to the fucking second page, so...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I've been trying to sweep this along for, like, 20 minutes, but okay.
Okay, let's proceed.
All right,
let's go.
Let's see, Howie Hawkins. So this is the guy who's probably going to win the Green nomination. They have primaries just like any other fucking party.
Do we have an image of Howie we could put up?
It's the thumbnail right now, but Jade, you have that image on your PC. You could probably.
People, you could just Google fucking Howie Hawkins audience.
I want to see this image though. I want to see this.
I'll put the thumbnail up.
Is it like Howie Hawkins from behind doing a goatee, or what?
No,
what's going on?
1 second. Oh yeah, Jay's not sharing screen.
Prying open my asshole.
It's all right though. I'm just gonna post. I'll post the thumbnail so you can see it for visual context.
Okay.
So
because like I glanced at it, but I never. Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
Well, so, hips don't lie.
Yeah, dude. I think I've looked into him. The more I look into the guy, the more I've liked about him. My opinion on him went really far up when I saw that he invited Kyle to have a conversation, because that's really cool. But I looked into a little bit of his past and shit. One thing I noticed is that his father was like a total fucking badass. He was an attorney who was also a football and wrestling student athlete who also happened to serve in counterintelligence for the Manhattan Project, which, if you don't know, was how nuclear fucking weapons got developed.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, you know, it kind of beats my resume where there's like, you know, I worked at a call center and that's it.
Yeah, I think that kind of blows most people's fucking resumes out of the water. But
yeah.
All right. So Howie himself, he got into politics age 12 because he saw how multiracial state Democratic parties were being repressed by the National Democratic Party in like 1964. So zoom ahead all the way to 1972. He campaigns for Bernie Sanders for Senate and governor, who was at that time running as a member of the Liberty Union Party, which was a Democratic Socialist Party. It was actually a third party. So yeah, Bernie ran for a third party for a good amount of time there.
And a socialist party, nonetheless.
Yeah, and here's the thing: Bernie was actually the fucking chairman of that party before he resigned due to the inactivity of the party between elections. So basically, they weren't doing any activism or any other things that he wanted to be involved in. So he just moved on to being an independent. Yeah, and Bernie Sanders, to my knowledge, he hasn't worked with a third party since, which is interesting.
Russian asset.
So, like in his experience, it like you know, there's passion behind it, but it doesn't result in anything.
Yeah, I feel like that is how a lot of people burn out. No pun intended on the idea of.
Fuck off.
No, I didn't even mean to do that. I didn't realize.
Oh, you didn't fight. Yeah, okay.
That's why I said no pun intended. I swear, dude. I swear to non-existent Jesus Christ, our Lord and not Savior. Okay, let's see what's next. Hawkins joined the Green Movement in the 80s, and eventually he, alongside a dude named Mike Feinstein, drafted a plan to unite the Green political organizations in the U.S. at the time. So this was when they were in the 80s. Basically, they were drafting the plans for the current Green Party that we have today. So he's been involved in this for a very long time. He was one of the fucking co-founders. So it's interesting. He's never decided to seek the nomination up until now. But yeah, I find that really interesting because he's not only trying to get the nomination for his own party, but he's been trying to win the nomination for several of the other like smaller third parties in the United States. Like, let's see, I believe that he's actually already won one. Yeah, there's a socialist party here in the United States. It's not that big, but he's already won their nomination. So he's trying to actually win the nomination of multiple parties so that he can like democratically like pull them all together and be like, okay, we need to unite under one single political party and try and get, you know, some real progress, which I think is interesting. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's...
I feel like if it actually succeeds, it's going to fall victim to the same thing as the two-party system, where it's like, you know, you have a fucking, you know, like people joining forces, but at the same time compromising their values.
Well, I think the idea is that like they would like... They agree on most things, so what they would work on most collectively is what they have in common.
Right, but they would need a lot of people, and eventually, like at some point, you're gonna have like you know at least half the people supporting that party doing so out of like, well, you know, I kind of have to.
That's the thing,
best
though.
Thing I can support.
That's the thing, though. With any collaboration, there's gonna be compromise. And
yeah, there's different wings of the parties we have now, obviously.
Right.
So.
But I mean, that's kind of the situation we're stuck in now, where it's like, oh, well, I kind of have to vote Democrat. At least this way, there would be 3 parties. Or if there's a libertarian party,
I'm not against
parties.
this idea, by the way. I'm just saying that I think it's going to, you know, history's going to repeat itself.
Sure,
if it actually succeeds, which I don't think it will.
I think more parties are better than less. You know, like, so if there's gonna if we have to get a bunch of really tiny parties together that'll create one party that'll actually have a chance at being a third party, then it's something you have to do. Because yeah, anytime you have collaboration, there's gonna be compromise. You just have to and you like Animancer said, most of the people agree on most issues. Right? I mean, even Democrats and Republicans agree on a lot of shit. Like, we just don't have a party that represents those fucking things that we actually agree on. We have 2 establishment parties. So if we have...
Who only want to pander to their pet issues.
Right.
Exactly. Like the party
Dude,
issues.
when you said that, like, they have things that they both agree on, like, immediately... Epstein killing himself came to mind.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, like, we all fucking knew that he got killed.
Yeah.
We know that happened.
Well...
The story they gave us made no fucking sense. So yeah, eventually at some point, if shit gets fucking absurd enough, yeah, people will unite.
Yeah. I mean, and both Republicans and Democrats want weed to be legalized for the most part. You know, a lot of us
Yeah.
want the fucking wars to be ended. A lot of us want infrastructure changes.
Better infrastructure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing, though. There's things that appeal to everybody. That's not what they want to push, and that's the saddest
and that's
fucking
why
thing.
and that's why so if we have a party that's going to appeal to what people actually want, then yeah, we might have to compromise. We won't get everything we want in that one party, but it's a hell of a lot better than what we have now, where it's the opposite, dude. It's like the majority of the issues that these politicians are for is stuff that we're staunchly against, but we have to vote for them because of the couple pet issues that we actually agree with them on. I'd rather have the reverse, where we agree with them on most shit and we have to compromise on a few minor issues.
I agree with that.
That's where
I definitely do agree with that. That's why we need to take a more individualistic approach when it comes to ideas, and not just, you know, like you said, like there shouldn't be these fucking big cable packages of ideologies. But you went into that in good detail. So, okay.
But you know what I'm saying? I think eventually that's going to happen either way.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather try something new than just continue doing the same
I mean,
that we've
if
been doing.
a party gets big enough, you're going to see that effect.
But we'll just have to see. That kind of what we were talking about kind of plays into this. Next
Okay,
point.
but here's the thing, though. Like, you know, take Sweden, for instance. We have a fuck ton of political parties. You know, most people, like 99% of people who vote, I mean, like, they have some shit they compromise their values on. Where it's like, okay, I don't like this, but I'm gonna have to look aside from that and just focus on like this thing that I want them to do.
There's almost always going to be some compromise.
I'm actually curious. Do they more? Is it closer to a two party? Like, I know there's multiple, but is it two parties that dominate for the most part?
No, it's more like a 5 or 6 party system.
And does it swing between all 5 or 6 of them, or are that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
it does. Actually, it's swinging towards the more like conservative, you know.
See, the thing about Canada, because we have third parties in Canada, but it mostly swings between the main two, and it's only gone to a third party like a handful of times over Canada's entire existence.
Yeah, actually, the Sweden Democrats, they're like the first, because I mean, like they're like the patriotic kind of, not nationalist, but you know, conservative, you know, closed borders kind of party.
Yeah.
They're actually like the first party, at least like as far as, you know, I've been alive, that I can recall going from being kind of like fringe to being, you know, one of the main players in the political system.
See, and that's
so like it's possible that, you know, like a party that a lot of people frown upon, you know, can eventually refine its image to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, now they're mainstream.
Right. And that's what we need here, yo. We just need. But yeah, anyway, I'll let Animatsa keep going.
I don't think you should have like a multiple party system. You should just have direct democracy. But I mean, like that's the really closest thing you can get.
Direct democracy anytime soon. I mean, I think that's a good stepping stone towards it. I mean, there are people who believe it. I think Andrew Yang even said something about it. He wants something closer to direct democracy.
I believe I've heard him talk about it before. But even our first fucking president, George Washington, hated political parties. Never forget that.
So that's actually that's actually a very powerful point that I don't want to just gloss over. That's actually something to remember. Yeah, George Washington even didn't like the political parties, and our founding fathers believed that the Constitution should be changed every 20 years. Don't forget that.
I know Thomas Jefferson believed that. I don't know if they all believed that.
Well, yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so Hawkins disagrees with the party within a party approach to the Democratic Party, which is basically disagreeing with how Bernie Sanders is trying to like reform it. He thinks that people need to make an entirely new party or embrace another one of the smaller third parties, which is close enough to what. And I agree with that. That's pretty much the conclusion I've come to over the course of doing all this research in the past few months and these past 2 election cycles, making me so disenfranchised. Yeah, honestly, I think it's bullshit. You can't reform the Democrats.
Yeah,
they'll always be a centrist party.
Maybe not always.
The Justice Democrats are forming a super PAC. That they were our one chance to make change in that party, and they fucking sold out. They sold out. They fucking sold out. So I don't know how else to put it, man.
I don't know what that means though. Like, what kind of super PAC? Is it inherently bad?
I mean, like the fact that like any kind of political movement has to have, you know, support from the rich elite behind it. I mean, like I think that just goes to show that it's bad.
I am disappointed in them because that was the thing that they don't take big money. But where is the money coming from? Like that might be worth looking
Jeff Bezos.
If it's Jeff Bezos, then fuck them. But you know,
Who knows?
I don't know. It's probably like Madonna.
I think it's worth looking into deeper, but rather than just making a judgment right off the bat. But hey, maybe I'll look into it before the next show, and I'll.
All right, yeah. I'm already getting like tons of ideas for episodes that we can do in the future on this. But I've got the 2 more points to make about Hawkins, and then we can wrap it up with the final section.
Wrap it up.
All right. So on April 16th, 2020, which is just about under a month ago, his official campaign account got suspended due to an alleged violation of the site's impersonation policy. But he was never given any explanation on how it was violated. It was restored about half a month later, which is just a few days prior to when we're going to be recording this. Okay, yeah. He only got it restored a few days ago.
I mean, dude, Twitter sucks. We know Twitter sucks. I mean, like the fucking meme, Jack is jacking off, yo. That's all this platform. This platform is a big fucking circle jerk for the elites. It's a fucking it's a big club and you ain't in it. The blue checkmark club. That's really what Twitter exists for. Twitter doesn't exist for those of us who are on here, trying to get our own views out there or trying to interact with people. No. Twitter exists for the fucking elite. Same like the government. It exists for, and the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. It exists for the elites to fucking use for whatever they want and to control the masses. We don't get a say.
It also exists for corporations. So they have a place where they can pretend to have even a shred of humanity.
It's got an illusion
Exactly.
of, oh yeah, you could become big on this platform, but not really. And
I mean, Twitter initially was kind of like I'm gonna just tell people what I'm doing right now kind of platform, and people mocked that heavily.
Yeah, and now,
but now that it actually has some functionality for people, and as far as political discussion and shit.
It's the primary platform of our fucking president to communicate with the American people.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I think that's the problem though, because the minute it became like a platform that the president used, it turned into something that it wasn't just a thing that anyone could become big on, or I feel like the slowly an invisible barrier, the same one that probably exists on YouTube, started to be built between the plebs and the people that actually matter on Twitter, and becoming. I mean, there's people who are fucking big on YouTube.
Dude.
I mean, there's people that we know that should probably be verified on Twitter that aren't.
Jay.
Yeah.
That's the only successful wall Trump's ever built.
That's true, dude. The fucking wall between the blue check marks and the plebs.
I don't even have I didn't even give this to you, but I did want to bring. Maybe we'll do an entire fucking episode on how shitty Twitter is at some point. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's funny because I went through this tedious process of getting verified on YouTube, and then I thought to myself, should I do the same for Twitter? And then I was like, no. I feel ashamed just for considering doing that.
Sorry, you can't apply.
But the fact that you have a fan base of more than a few thousand people, it should automatically verify you for Twitter. Yeah, you should be qualified for Twitter verification. Hey, I have a fucking YouTube audience. I want my fucking audience to know that I'm the real person on Twitter. That this is my why shouldn't there be why shouldn't Swagta have a blue check mark to say this is the real Swagta account and not someone pretending to be him?
I have something important to tell you. This is gonna blow your fucking mind. So Twitter verified, signing up, doing the public submissions is what I should say. The public submissions for being Twitter verified, they've been closed for quite a while. Want to know when they were last open, Swagta?
2016.
November 15th, 2017.
Wow. All right, well, close but no cigar. So why is it closed? Why are you closed?
Why have they been closed for 3 years?
Because Jack is jacking off. Jack has been jacking off for 3 years, dude.
Fucking jackass.
Yeah, dude, he's a fucking jackass. Fuck you, Jack. Fuck you, Jack.
Yeah, dude, fuck
Hit
Jack.
the road, Jack.
All right.
Fuck Jack and fuck Susan while we're at it.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I need the ad revenue I make to survive. So
I didn't
Susan,
say which
I love
Susan.
you. You have my
Dude.
approval.
I didn't say which Susan.
Oh yeah. Fuck you, Susan.
Yeah, we didn't say the one with the big dick.
Yeah, fuck you, Susan Walsh from Dead Rising 1.
Susan
By
Walsh.
far the most tedious NPC to rescue.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so to kind of play into our last fucking section here, he's actually the first person to run for office to include the Green New Deal in part of their platform. So that is a feat that Howie Hawkins has. Yeah. Which is pretty impressive because now the Green New Deal is not just something that his party's talking about; it's something the Democrats are pushing too, or at least a lot of them are, which is really cool. Okay, so that brings us into the Green New Deal. Starting in 2006, the Green New Deal was created by the Green New Deal Task Force, amazingly creative name there, as a plan for a 100% clean, renewable energy by 2030.
Yep, and you know why that's funny? You know why that's funny? The same reason it's not gonna happen is because it's fucking been smeared by ignorant fucking retards ever since, who know nothing and just be like, Green New Deal they want to ban airplanes. Yeah, like Tim Pool. Yep, like Tim Pool and Sargon. Fuck both those people.
By the way, I haven't looked into climate change. But, fuck Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, I haven't looked into climate change, but fuck the Green New Deal. AOC.
Yeah, but he's not pandering to a conservative audience. Don't worry about that.
He said that because I set it up, by the way. I just want to make that clear for history to know. That led what I mentioned earlier, that Green New Deal Task Force. It eventually led to the writing of a report released in the United Kingdom entitled A Green New, which was the first thing to really include proper proposals to tackle global warming, the current financial crisis, which was in 2008, and peak oil. It's funny now too, because now that there's another financial crisis going on, there's being more calls for the Green New Deal, which is kind of interesting.
It also proposes socialism. And
totally.
degradation of our society, and it bans airplanes.
So
it also heavily pushes social degeneracy.
So do you want to go into Yeah,
I'll go into it a little bit more. For 6 years there was really just talk about it. It wasn't until 2012 where the U.S. Green Party proposed their own version of the Green New Deal, and it was brought into their official platform. Howie Hawkins, Jill Stein, and others have run it. Basically, anyone that they've been pushing has been in favor of the Green New Deal. Pretty much anyone in the party is going to be in favor of it. After the 2018 midterm elections, progressive members of the Democratic Party began to utilize the term Green New Deal, the most notorious of which is AOC, and she created her own version of the Green New Deal, which is different than the Green Party's proposal, but it's similar in a lot of other ways. And she actually proposed that deal alongside Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey, which is one of my senators, which is interesting. So Democrats are beginning to push it too, which is, I don't know. It's funny that one of the fucking mainstream parties is trying to pick up something that from a third party. Like it's almost like they have something interesting to say that resonates with the American people.
See, if Joe Biden could just get on the fucking Green New Deal bandwagon, maybe he'd be worth voting for, Like I feel.
I'm sorry. Just let me read let me read this off because
Yeah, go ahead.
This will interest you. Here's some people who have come out and supported the Green New Deal. Andrew Yang, Elizabeth Warren, Christine Gillibrand, that lady who was running and no one cares.
Is it Kirsten or Christine?
Kirsten. It's Kirsten. Yeah, that's Kirsten. Bernie Sanders, obviously. Amy Klobuchar, Andrew Cuomo, and
Really?
apparently Joe Biden.
Really?
Apparently Joe Biden.
I have a question because I was gonna bring this up, but then I realized that it's mean. But fuck it. I mean, does Joe Biden have the mental capacity to understand what this entails? Like, does he understand what the fuck the Green New Deal is?
I don't think so.
No, probably not.
What? They want to make socialism. They want to bring whatever. I guess I have to vote for this because my constituents
have
want
you
me to.
listened to Joe Biden trying to get through a sentence that relates to the environment or any kind of change in the political system?
My hairy legs.
Global warming is bad for my hairy
quickly
legs.
derails, becomes like a run-on sentence that ends in no point at all.
On account of my hairy legs.
Because of global warming,
Front runner Joe Biden.
my hairy legs don't turn blonde anymore in the sunlight. Now they only turn a light beige color.
Actually,
I also want to remind people that Joe Biden forgot the color blonde mid-sentence.
dude, I was so skeptical about the Joe Biden thing that I double sourced it. I made sure to like source 2 fucking articles to make sure that they actually said that. So yeah, I did my fucking research on that.
So Joe Biden,
just because
you could have
it comes
just
out and
watched
says
the
it,
video, but
I mean, just because he comes out and says it though. Yeah, it doesn't mean that because it's fucking Joe Biden.
doesn't mean that he said it. Wait, what?
No, it doesn't mean that he actually means it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
you mean the Green New
Oh,
Deal?
okay. He's like, it's 4D chess trolling. He's memeing.
He's just trying to appeal to people under the promise of something he's not going to give, just like his predecessor Obama.
Well, yeah, that's why, like, I don't trust him, dude. Like, yeah, Obama ran on fucking change, and what change did we get? We got a fucking shitty deal that led to Trump.
Yeah, you got a fucking mandate for buying health insurance too, which originated from a conservative think tank.
Dude, all we fucking want is single payer healthcare. Like it's fucking it's such a fucking foregone conclusion in other countries where it's just like, yep, that's just what, yeah, single payer, yeah, or at least public option, yeah, of course. Like what private healthcare? What? Other countries look at us and laugh and say, "What do you mean private healthcare? What? Do you have private fucking
it's
private
funny,
fucking
like,
firefighters
when I
and
fucking
police?
The first time I heard like an American talk about like deductibles, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I looked it up and I'm like, is that an actual thing?
Yeah, I was too. I didn't get it at first too, because for me it was like, yeah, you just go to the fucking hospital. You're sick, you go to the hospital. You know?
Yeah.
They don't charge you
dude,
shit.
Like, I went to the hospital twice this fucking year, or not even twice, a fuck ton of times, because I had
We need
a
more
fucking
than
disgusting.
I agree we need more than single payer, but it is a start, and
Yeah.
I'll take anything other than the bullshit system we have now.
I mean, it's going to be a bullshit system, but it's going to be rebranded. Essentially, what you have is, the normie peon pleb class gets, mediocre care, and the rich elite, they get like actual good health care.
Dude, we're gonna give you Biden care, dude. It's just mandated insurance, so you just have to pay us money, and then we pretend like we're helping you. It's called Biden care.
I bet they'd call it like Obama Biden care or something.
Biden
They're going to call
care,
it like Obamacare 2.0.
Dude, they can't call it Biden care because we all know Biden doesn't give a shit.
Biden
anyway,
care. Yeah, that's an oxymoron.
Yeah, so for the longest time, the Green New Deal was mostly a conversation that was going on here in America. But over in the UK, the Labour Party committed to a Green New Deal at its 2019 annual conference, with plans to decarbonize by 2030.
Once again,
they're
ahead
the only
of
major.
us.
Yeah. They're the only major political party in Europe and North America to have it part of their official platform. Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, you're right, but the Labour Party has been getting slaughtered in the UK consistently since like 2005. Like,
Well,
they
that's because, dude, the fucking wait, the Labour Party is the liberal one, right?
Well, no, there's the Labour Party and then there's the Liberal Democrats.
Oh.
And then there's the Conservatives. They have 2 left-wing parties.
Oh. Well, because see, the fucking liberals in the UK have fucking they're a perfect example of the fucking the SJWs that have gone too far. They've attached themselves to that ideology, and it's hurt them. It's hurt them from like regular people who just don't want to fucking engage in this id poll nonsense, in this oppression Olympics shit. Now people like Sargon can now smear the entire left ideology because of a few fucking dumb ideas they have. And it hurts their entire fucking cause. And that's why
you're right.
Political parties should not take shit like that on.
All right, well, here's my final point, and then we'll be wrapped up with the fucking episode. So in April 2020, so just last month, the European Parliament called to include the European Green New Deal in the recovery program from the health pandemic. So Yeah, the entire EU is trying to push a Green New Deal now, which is
Dope.
pretty crazy, just because of this health pandemic that we've been going through. It's funny that it took that for people to wake up on so
Dude.
many issues that are important.
I love how the EU is trying to push a Green New Deal in the face of this crisis. Meanwhile, America is trying to bail out corporations and, not cooperate with other countries like China for vaccines and just put our foots down and our fucking fingers in our ears and be like, no, we're America. Fuck everyone else. Other countries are uniting to do something good in the face of this crisis, while, American CEOs are looting the coffers right in the face of the suffering American public. Makes me sick, yo.
And I'm proud to be an American. Yeah.
So that was a fun time. That was a good first episode.
I enjoyed this episode. If the audience did, let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
definitely.
Shower us with your
by the way,
praise and adoration.
Should we give them a hint on one of the next episodes we have planned?
I think one of the next ones we have. We should just do the labels episode next. I'll do some research and prepare my points and shit.
Dope.
All right. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, Teddy.
I was just gonna say, like, the fuck am I, Teddy Rubskin now?
Yeah, you are.
By the way, I don't think we've talked about this on a main Underhaven since we've done one, but Animancer has fucking reached his goal for the fucking PC, and yeah, he's gonna be getting that fucking PC finally. So a lot of fucking changes are coming to Underhaven, and shit's gonna be fucking dope. And
solo streams, call-in shows, new fucking series, all shit off the top of my fucking dome. Maybe we'll even do a fucking tabletop D&D style thing. We'll fucking woo. Okay, play the Von Helton thing. I want to hear it.
Okay, here's why Underhaven no longer exists on Twitch.
Good night, motherfuckers. Have a good fucking evening. Thanks for watching our show and suck my dick. All right, see you guys.
Fuck yourself.
Peace the fuck out, guys.
Yes. Oh, I'm fucking coming. Oh, I'm fucking coming. Stick your finger in my ass.